let's check it out. We probably got YouTube and the Twitter are going. Let's see though. Okay, looks live, looks live. I need to upgrade this plan so I can get TikTok up in the mix. Maybe we'll... Damn, I wish I had the time to do all this crap right now. Okay. Let's get the chat going. Got it anywhere? Chat. Okay, sweet. That's up and running. I want to see, gosh. Restream channels. Let's get that up. Playing around with stuff for just a second here. I'm going to see if we can kind of go live on TikTok instead of frig. I might have to end X. I don't know if this will work. Let me see something. It doesn't look like it's working. I'll bet it's streaming to my other account. Damn, I don't even know where this is going. Well, we're gonna start. So, all right, let's get the show started. If anyone wants to join, chat is open. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, let's go. Live from a studio apartment, this is Missed Information. Tonight's top stories, SNAP food stamps have lapsed for over 42 million Americans. Yeah, it's the only lapse that many of them have ever done. You could see the struggle was real there. It was tough. She was running for those Doritos. You can get those with SNAP. The government shutdown is now in its 6th week. Yeah. Which is crazy because that's usually when Democrats would abort it. Yeah. They might try to push this shutdown into the second trimester. They might push it a little bit further. This might be a late term reopening. We'll see. Tomorrow's the midterm elections, of course, and Zohran Mamdani is on the ballot to become the first communist mayor of New York. He promised that if he wins, he's going to divide the rats equally amongst New Yorkers. Yeah. 1 rat per person. Do not take more than 1 rat. That completes the jokes portion of the evening. Listen, I got a full-time job. You're lucky I wrote 3 of these fucking things. We will go ahead and do some news stories. We'll get to the real show. And now listen, I got to make some cornbread too. Hold up. I don't know if you see, yeah, you can see I got a cornbread recipe pulled up here. I got the oven on, so we're going to make this show short because it's 11:18 my time. And I need to get some cornbread going on. But in any case, okay. Top stories, let's see. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the election. That's kind of the first thing. I gotta get rid of this cornbread recipe from the screen. cannot discuss anything else with cornbread floating there. Yeah, the November 4th, tomorrow's election day. You got Mamdani in New York. I did want to touch on there's an interesting ballot in California. That's where I'm from. I'm in San Diego right now. So Mamdani is getting all the media coverage. Prop 50 in California is really interesting. So what this is it's basically I believe it was proposed by Gavin Newsom. It's allowing the Democrats to suspend an independent redistricting commission's recommendations for how to district everything, so that they can essentially unilaterally just decide to redistrict, and they can make it so that they have an unfair advantage for the Democrats, which to me is frigging crazy. I mean, first of all, what does it sound like to you when somebody who's in power rigs the system so that future votes can only go one way and they maintain power? What would you call that type of a government system or style? Would you call it an authoritarian style? Because I've heard the word authoritarian being thrown about quite a bit. But this to me seems like exactly that. I mean, it's tough being in California because you're already, if you're a conservative in California, you know, you're probably like 30% of the vote, you know, if you're lucky in some areas. And just to give you a little bit more context on this. So what it was in, there was I think this was back in 2008. There was another proposition. In 2008, there was Prop 11 was on the ballot to create a California Citizens Redistricting Commission. Okay. Its primary purpose, and I got this from Grok, I believe, was to independently draw the boundaries for U.S. congressional, state Senate, state assembly, and state board of equalization districts following each census. Okay, so they do the census, independent panel draws the districts, all right? Thereby removing from the state removing the process from the state legislature to minimize partisan gerrymandering and ensure more competitive, fair districts that better reflect voter demographics and preferences. Literally just going off of the census and having an independent panel that does this separately so that it removes the legislature from that decision. So now, fast forward almost 20 years later, you have Gavin Newsom coming with a new proposition on the ballot to suspend this independent panel. And they're like, oh, we'll go back to the independent panel in a couple of years. The whole reason for this was, I guess, the Republicans have been redistricting some in Texas. My understanding of the whole nationwide redistricting, though, is that it is very, very skewed towards Democrats already. So any redistricting is not necessarily like if everything balanced out and the Republicans actually redistricted everything that they needed to, it probably would be a much different electoral map. But as far as California goes, this just sort of makes it impossible for conservatives to kind of win anything in California. And it's weird being in a state that does tilt towards a sort of authoritarian way of voting like this. I don't know. It's a funny feeling being a conservative out here. So we got... Trump had an interesting, I guess they released the full 60 Minutes interview separately through the White House. And Trump had a moment where the interviewer was asking him about his, she was suggesting that he was using political retribution and lawfare against his opponents, his political opponents, by indicting James Comey, John Bolton, dude with the mustache, and then also Letitia James, that was the woman, the New York Attorney General, who prosecuted Trump on mortgage fraud charges, right? And I just thought this was kind of a brilliant answer from Trump. I'll let you watch it here. There we go. Oh, actually, I need to load this thing again. Give me one more sec. Let's get the screen up. All right.
James Comey, John Bolton, Letitia James were all recently indicted. there's a pattern to these names. They're all public figures who have publicly denounced you. Is it political retribution?
You know what? You know who got indicted? The man you're looking at. I got indicted, and I was innocent. And here I am because I was able to beat all of the nonsense that was thrown at me.
Just a brilliant answer, because it puts her face to face with him. And the way he phrases that, where he says, you know who was indicted? The man you're looking at right here, right? He doesn't say, you know who was indicted? Me. You know, he phrases it as the man you're looking at, which puts her right in the room, frames him as a man who that literally happened to. And you can see her here actually get kind of uncomfortable, just sort of being confronted with what's an obvious truth, that he was lawfared and indicted for ridiculous charges. So you can see her get a little bit uncomfortable being confronted on that here.
And yet, when you go after a dirty cop like Comey, or a guy like Bolton, who I hear has, I don't know anything about it, I hear he took records all over the place, who knows? Letitia James is a terrible, dishonest person, in my opinion.
Did you instruct the Department of Justice to go after
Not
them?
in any way, shape, or form. No, you don't have to instruct them, because they were so dirty, they were so crooked, they were so corrupt, that the honest people we have, Pam Bondi's doing a very good job.
Also a great response, you know, that he didn't have to instruct them because they're so crooked, it was easy. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm sure he is nudging a bit to get certain people brought up on charges. I wouldn't be surprised. But if it's the people that did that to him, I don't have any problem with it. Okay, so biggest thing here, the food stamps have now officially lapsed for 42 million Americans. There's a TikTok user who had an interesting observation. I'll let this play here.
Only in America do we have people that have $1,200 iPhones checking to see if their SNAP benefits hit.
Which is true, you know, and it's kind of funny when you watch the videos of a lot of, you know, they have the EBTs of TikTok videos now where it's all like food stamp recipients who are complaining about losing their benefits. A lot of them have a lot of clearly their nails have been done, their hair's been done. That shit ain't cheap. You know, those nails are like $150, $175. You know, hair, same thing. I have always said that in terms of like poverty, end of your rope in America, the line actually isn't when people get low on food. The line for people that would lead to actual revolution is if you take their phones away. If you see people walking around with a government phone, if they got that government phone on them, we're about to have a revolution. So, I mean, he points it out. You know, even in complaining about this stuff, we're literally in a very entitled country where you're able to complain about it from your $1,200 iPhone. There's another woman who's getting some criticism for being a SNAP recipient, food stamp recipient for 30 years. You can hear her talking here.
The first thing I did phone call, and when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades. Even with these benefits, she's...
Okay, so first of all, she seems like a super sweet lady, right? Like, I don't want to hate on the lady. She seems like a sweet little lady. But just hearing that, the newscaster say she's been on SNAP benefits for 3 decades. That's a long-ass fucking time to be on food stamps for. You know, you're telling me you there was nothing, literally nothing that you could do to get some type of work, get a job, get off of those during that 3 decades? Which just makes me think that they are way too convenient for people, which is, you know, a lot of the criticism that people are bringing up right now is, you know, somebody had a post, I guess there's like some nutrient dense sort of bread called Nutriloaf that some company makes. Looks disgusting. It's like a little oat loaf with raisins in it. And people on X were suggesting that that should be it for food stamps. People should just get one of these neutral loaves and it'll satisfy all of their nutrition requirements. But it is somewhat true. You know, if you make things too convenient for people, they'll never get off. So I don't know what her actual individual story is. Maybe there's a very good reason why she was on for essentially life, but I don't know that the program's necessarily, or that it should be meant to have people on it for 30 years at a time. That seems excessive. Haven't seen the any stories about people looting so far. Have not seen that. I suppose that's somewhat surprising. I know Ted Cruz suggested that the Democrats were waiting until after tomorrow to reopen the government because they believe that it will energize their crazy base. Here's Ted Cruz.
The government opened this upcoming week. This is getting seriously impacting the U.S. economy. What's your take?
I think it's likely to open Wednesday or Thursday of this week. The Democrats will wait until after Election Day because they think a shutdown is good for energizing the crazies in their party. But I think it'll be either late this week or early next week.
It is kind of true. It's kind of funny. The Democrats do have a sort of they have like a crazy kind of rioter base. It's not all the Democrats, obviously, but there's a percentage of them that do get super riled up on these like social justice issues, and they'll turn up for stuff like that. So interesting to hear Ted Cruz call that out. Fetterman, John Fetterman, I think what is he in the Senate in Minnesota? Is that the one? He's coming under fire from his party. He's a Democrat senator. He said that the Democrats own the shutdown, so he's taking a little bit of flack for saying that out loud.
To know that 42 million Americans are going to lose their SNAP benefits. And now that's one of the big reasons why I refuse to shutting our government down. And again, I feel like the Democrats really need to own the shutdown. I'm deeply distressing to know that 42 million Americans are going to lose.
It's funny that the most level-headed Democrat has severe brain damage. It's almost as if there's so much brain damage on the left that you have to get additional brain damage to reverse yourself out of it. Is that a working theory for why Fetterman is the most sane Democrat? Maybe unfair to say, but you know, you kind of get the sense a little bit watching Fetterman recently that he is going to switch to conservative at some point, don't you? I mean, the way he's speaking out against the Democrat Party, I forget what other issues but he's been in the news a couple times recently for speaking out against his party. So, interesting guy, actually. And for all the crap he's taken, it is pretty amazing that he's still in Congress after having a stroke like that. Pretty insane. He's going to be a tough guy. Okay. Next up, we did the interview. This was a pretty big story. I thought this was really interesting. So there was a woman who was, I guess she was at Gold's Gym, and she had her membership stripped away because she refused to allow a transgender man into the women's locker room. I guess she vocalized her opposition to that. You can check it out here. Here's the video of her. Sorry, I lost my cursor.
Big dicks at Gold's Gym! Men! Grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room! And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know! The fuck? Everybody saw that man in the fucking locker room! No one's saying shit! And I'm fucking done with it. It's fucking stupid.
How can you not love her? Like, how can you not love this woman just watching her go off about this stuff? Mostly because she's just speaking truth. You know, I mean, she's literally pointing out the obvious, which is, I mean, first of all, this guy doesn't even look like, I mean, if you're going to claim transgender, and enter a women's locker room. You're telling me all you got to do is throw on a pair of earrings? This motherfucker looks like he went to fucking JCPenney and bought some earrings so that he could sneak into the women's locker room. Like, what the F? But in any case, I think there's more of this. Oh my gosh, I almost played the wrong video again. Okay. That was the woman running almost again. So loud. Okay.
It's dangerous.
It was dangerous.
Me naked in front of a man without my permission. But I'm the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room.
I mean, imagine being a woman and being forced to literally change in front of a guy with his penis sitting there in the locker room staring at their bodies. Like, that is absolutely insane. And it's the fact that we live in a culture of being too nice that allows stuff like this to happen. So,
Are you? Did you tell me or not that women like to see dick?
I'm asking you a fucking question.
Exactly. Get out of the way now. No. Now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it.
he looks so incensed. It's funny. Interesting to see the other guy step up to him too. You don't usually see that because everyone's so spooked about confronting someone who's a protected victim group.
He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that shit. And the woman told you. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. No.
That's fine. I want the video.
You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay.
The entitled walk into the restroom is ridiculous. No, but that, I don't know if she's here in the comments anywhere. I just followed her though. I don't even know if I could find it. She's on X if you want to follow her. Can I find her? Tish Hyman. Rough name for this particular issue. I can see why she's so concerned about it, frankly. She's protecting that hymen. If your name is Hyman, you got to protect it. So in any case, Tish Hyman, listen to Tish. She's got 38,000 followers on X already. I think she had 20,000 earlier today, so I don't know how many of those are from this, or maybe she's been growing an account. I have a little shit light that just went off. This is such a ghetto little studio. In any case, give her a follow. She seems super fun. And anything else? I mean, this was a crazy video. I don't know if we can play this on YouTube. Probably not. There was like some guy who was wearing a helmet and there's a police body cam video of him getting shot. Look it up. Let's just say that. I'm thinking about it now. I don't think I should play videos like that on YouTube. I think they get mad. But it's just a hostage situation. I think it's a family member. And I looked it up a little bit. I think he's got a kid that he's holding. It might be one of his siblings. And he's maybe an older brother who's had some previous mental health issues, and the cops confront him and shoot directly in the head over the kid and save the kid. So, crazy video. Trump has called for terminating the filibuster. Terminate the filibuster, he says, not just for the shutdown, but for everything else. We will get all of our common sense policies approved. Voter ID, anyone? And make America great again. Remember, the Democrats will do it immediately as soon as they get the chance. Which is a very good point. Although, this filibuster discussion comes up year after year. Every time there's a change in government, I think no one wants to do it because everyone wants to have the ability to filibuster. I think it's stupid. The filibuster, my understanding of it, is essentially like if there's a party in power in Congress, they generally can pass, if they have a certain majority, they can pass whatever the bills that they want, right? Unless the minority is able to take the floor and speak for long enough that it gets annoying enough that the majority party just gives up. So the whole point of the filibuster is to get your way by being annoying, which Democrats are very good at. But that just sounds like, to me, I hear that, I don't think the filibuster should have ever been a thing. That sounds horrible, and that doesn't sound like a good way to govern or a valid way to govern. So, and I do agree with them. If they pass on this, I do think the Democrats would get rid of it if they had the chance. So I would get rid of it, pass what you're going to pass, and just let the chips fall where they may. Okay. Let's maybe wrap it up for tonight. I'll come back tomorrow. Keep it short and sweet. I got cornbread to make. Hopefully you guys like the jokes. And we'll get better tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Let me get out of here. Stop streaming.